Yo, what's up, guys? I'm today with a Awakening Sorc PvE grind on the Stars End main rotation. I've changed up a couple things with my PvE skill rotation as well as add-ons since the last video I did about Sakria underwater in the Abyssal Zone. So you can either head towards any main city at the skill add-ons, or if you want to be closer to your grind area, you can go to Atcher Guard Post for their skill add-on. It's just a node manager, or Port of Furia has one as well by the Furious Info Post. So if you want to take a look at my skill add-ons, here they are. This is my PvE. Nothing super special, just accuracy and critical damage on most of my stuff, as well as monster damage on the Shadow Eruption and Grim Reaper's Judgment. Other than that, nothing matters too much besides the Absolute Darkness and monster damage on some of your abilities. The casting speed and accuracy is just bonus to help you get a little bit faster through the mobs, and are nice and just the best that you can take until the up and coming skill add-on changes. So to find this rotation, you're going to be looking on your map. You're coming all the way here over at Stars End, west of Alpheon, and it's going to be all the way at the end before you start to head into this forest area. You're going to see a diamond shape, and you're going to come right about here, which is where you're hitting this rock. There are a few places that you can park your tent and your horse. I personally just do right about here above the road. If you go too far down the road, you're going to run into problems with your bear right here. If you don't have a Dream Horse, it is eventually going to kill your horse if you don't do anything about it. Plus, the Mount has been damaged message is pretty annoying. The other place that people like to park their horse and tent is down here past the rotation. And if you come just about past these two trees right here, you are safe from mobs. They're going to follow you a little bit, but will lose aggro. I've used both, and I personally just prefer the place by the road behind the rock, just because it is easier. Don't have to run through the mobs and mess up the rotation, but either works fine. It's just a preference thing. So the main thing about this new rotation is adding in some better abilities that make it more efficient, while adding in some more casting and accuracy buffs to help you clear a bit faster and smoother. So this rotation is the same as usual in the very beginning. Q buffing as always, unless I don't need to, with Shadow Leap already getting me buffed up to get that AP. Then I go into Absolute Darkness for the 30% crit rate, Midnight Stinger, Scattering Shadow on Hotbar, Shadow Eruption, Shift F for the monster damage, and then C-swap into an instant turnback slash, followed up by a charged Grim Reaper's Judgment, which is just holding spacebar when you do charge up the Grim. Then pretty bread and butter Sorc from there. You're going to want a Violation, extend it to use consume 10 shards, and then 2 hits of Dead Hunt into Violation again. You really want to aim to kill the packs with only 2 violations. You don't want to have to go into the third one and potentially not have shards available depending on how your rotation goes before buffing up. If you are running into trouble killing them with only 2 extended violations, you can throw in Engulfing Shadow after the Grim Reaper's Judgment, or some filler abilities like Shadow Ignition your other bomb, or Bloody Calamity to get some more damage in before you start to do your violation while maintaining your buffs. The pulls, unlike Sakria where you're chain pulling most of the stuff, they're pretty set in Stars End, and same thing with main rotation at Stars End. Unlike a lot of the classes that can do crystal to crystals with Stars End that knock down the mobs and have a chance to kill all the mobs in the area so you can move a bit faster, Sorc doesn't value the crystals too much, just because Awakening does not have really decent down attacks. Violation does not have any down attack modifiers, so it does not help you or speed you up by hitting the crystals and destroying them, because you lose that back attack modifier once you do break the crystal. If you do happen to break a crystal, whether it's on accident or you get a bit lazy, that's fine, and do the same thing. The key to this is just using Karshan's Nightmare, Shift E, and Awakening, and that has really good down attack damage and clears the mobs up pretty fast. So even if you want to do this regularly, it's not too much slower, and it's a bit more chill than doing this kind of intense PvE grind over and over. Because it does start to wear on your hands if you do plan on grinding for quite a long time. So basically you're going to be pulling the packs away from the crystals rather than to them. As you can see, you want to group them usually towards the larger mobs, get them away from the crystal, then do your same rotation. It does take a little bit longer to pull them away from it, rather than having the other classes' benefits of pulling them right on top of the crystal, which they're already positioned around, but you will get used to it, and honestly it's not that much of a hinder to do rather than just going from pack to pack. So for Awakening Sorc and Sorc in general, you do the rotation counterclockwise. A lot of the classes like to do it the opposite way, but I found that Sorc really benefits from doing the other way, just the way they pull and the way that they can delete the mobs with this particular rotation. As you can see, you want to be able to pull in as many mobs as you can at a time. You don't want to ever be under the mob limit of 9 or over it, just because you're going to end up being inefficient with your clears. It's going to get sloppy, and you're going to have to end up using extra abilities for 3 to 4 mobs that are going to follow you to the next pack and just mess up the whole rotation. So this is the most efficient way that I've found to do this rotation, with extending it a little bit, just because of some overclear issues. This particular hour, I did run into some war decks as well as a couple people asking to duel for spots, so it wasn't that great of an hour, only about 4,800 trash loot, and I was also wearing Nuver, which I did not realize, and I switched about 20 minutes left, which you'll see in this. This is the last 20 minutes of my grind, which was pretty peaceful. Regularly, I will pick about anywhere from 51 to 5,200 right now trash loot. Still at 275 or 273 Kudum. Now, like I've said before, this is no record. This is not the best you can get. You may not get this yourself, or you may get better. I think I've heard of people getting around 53, 54 on Awakened Sorc. So it just depends on how motivated you are, how focused on the grind, which obviously it's better to grind more casually or whatever works best for you, just so you don't burn yourself out or focus too much on the numbers, rather than being able to grind for however long you want to enjoy the game. That being said, that is all there is to it, to main rotation. It's not super difficult. It is very neat with the mob placements. You're not going to get too overcrowded with mobs and go over the limit. It is probably the easiest rotation at Star's End for Awakening Sorc, rather than something like Temple or Cliff, where the mobs aren't placed too graciously and you are going to run into some problems with not being able to do crystal packs. Still doable, just takes a little bit more and has a learning curve to it. So if you have any other questions about, grinding Awakened, or other places I grind, how I do it, or just any questions about Awakened Sorc, feel free to hit me up in the comments, or add me on Discord, or shoot me a message there. I am on most of the time, and be able to see your message and help you out if I can. So I hope you guys enjoy, and enjoy the rest of the grind.
I seem so worn out and stressed out. Baby, I'm tired of rushing. I blew you off like it's nothing. I've been so beat down and paid down. I seem so worn out and stressed out. This is so
Growing up, I'm growing up. Life is moving on, it never stops. And one day we're all gonna die. It's kinda hard to get my head around. I've been reading about the universe. Never seemed so small. Supernovas and shooting stars. What is all of this for? So we're growing up, but now it seems like nothing. With other things to focus on, why does it still hurt? Yeah. All you want is a song. All I need is a girlfriend. All you want is a song from me. All I need is no friends. Why you tryna ring my phone? You should know that I won't pick up. Why you tryna get in touch? Don't you know I don't give a fuck? All you want is a song. All I need is a girlfriend. All you want is a song from me. All I need is no friends. Growing up, I'm growing up. Life is moving on, it never stops. And one day we're all gonna die. It's kinda hard to get my head around. I've been reading about the universe. Now it seems so small. Supernovas and shooting stars. What is all of this for? So we're growing up, but now it seems like nothing. With other things to focus on, why does it still hurt?